If you were to ask me last year in 2025, how much money have you made with your business? I would be so embarrassed to tell them that I've made like pennies. Like I haven't made shit last year. This year, it's a lot different, and I honestly believe it has to do with these 8 habits that I'm about to tell you. How I changed so much from last year to this year in terms of money. I forgot to film this part, but just in case you don't believe me, because I know it's very important to show proof. This is from April 20th to May 3rd. And as you can see, I made 75.3K in 14 days. So you know I'm not bullshitting you. So straight away, the first thing that I will say was a big step in that direction was actually thinking like a millionaire. Now that I've made a lot of money, I can say it is so much easier to think like a millionaire once you actually have something to prove it. And why this is so powerful, and I'm pretty sure everybody talks about this, so I'm just gonna get this out of the way because it's like the most important thing. If you're this person and you're trying to be like this person, you need to think like this person and not yourself. Because probably in your current state, you're nothing like the person you want to be. You're nothing like a millionaire. You're not thinking or acting like a millionaire would. And that, I mean, is in every single situation, not just monetarily situations. That is when talking to people, what people to talk to, what videos you're watching in the meantime, what you're doing with your free time. Your whole lifestyle is dependent on how you are thinking, and thoughts can be insanely powerful. I'm reading this book right now called The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, and it's really this guy just talking about how he left everything to train with the monks and think like the monks because he was living a miserable life, and coming out of that after being with the monks for a year or whatever, he became such a different person just by starting to think like them and act like them. And one thing that stuck with me that the monks actually did was if they would have a negative thought, they would go to this freezing cold waterfall and they would stand under that waterfall until they couldn't breathe anymore, and then they would get out just for having one negative thought. And they emphasized how important it is to have a positive mindset in every single situation, because seriously, like, negative thoughts will tear you to pieces if you let it. And all millionaires, they are positive mindset thinkers. They don't have time to be thinking so negatively because they have money to make. If they're stuck on this, how are they going to scale their brand, their business, and actually do something? And you can start thinking like a millionaire right away. You can do affirmations, talking to yourself in a mirror, just looking at yourself in a mirror and just repeating a couple phrases saying like, I'm a millionaire, I'm rich, I have 1 million subs, all that. I actually do something kind of similar. So at my work desk where I am basically almost all of the day, besides my bed where I sleep, I see this constantly. So it's just unconsciously getting into my brain. I'm thinking about stuff like millions in the bank, 1 million subs, being a man of God, 10K days. All of this is just unconsciously getting into my brain. So that's one way of doing it. And another powerful way, like I said, is just talking to yourself, telling yourself, if you want to be a millionaire, then you gotta tell yourself you are a millionaire. This I just put up recently, but before this, I used to have I'm a millionaire sticky notes all around my room. You can probably see it in my earlier videos. I just had it all around my room. So I would always be seeing that and automatically thinking like a millionaire, like I am that person. The second step I'm going to put in is silence. And I haven't been doing this the entire time that I've been into making money and actually trying for myself in terms of money. But if you really think about it, silence is so much more important than you would think. Do you notice how every single smart idea that comes to you, it comes either in the shower or when you're taking a shit or when you're on a walk, something like that? It's because you're not drowning yourself in noise, doom scrolling, watching shows, doing whatever. Every single amazing invention and thought always comes in silence. The way I started implementing this into my daily routine is well, first of all, I deleted like all my social media on my personal phone. So there was no way that I could possibly get distracted and lose this valuable silence. But I stopped listening to music in the morning and during my work routine, really. I still listen to music just after hours, after work and everything's done. Another thing is literally just not taking your phone into the bathroom. If you're shitting, brushing your teeth, whatever, it's a big habit of mine, just taking it in there and then getting distracted, being on the toilet for 30 minutes when I could have been done and saved like a ton of time. And also taking my phone into my bed because I would just be there super tired, laying in my bed, just scrolling forever. So doing those two things absolutely changed my life, like insanely. A few years ago, I had 8-hour, 9-hour screen times every single day, and it was just on TikTok, on Instagram, just scrolling every day. Absolutely terrible for you. It also affects your memory too. Like, are you able to tell me the last 5 TikToks that you've watched? Like, everything about it? And I guarantee you that you cannot. But if I ask you, what's the last YouTube video you watched? Like, give me 5 pointers from that, or whatever it was. If it was a show or something long term, not as short form as TikToks, you would be able to tell me what happened in it. So it's important to be in silence as much as you can. The third step, I'd say, is prioritizing your health. I've been into health for quite a while, but every single day I'm learning something new and changing things around me, and I can see that in my own body and in my mind. I'm thinking so much clearer now. I'm able to speak without brain fog and distracting thoughts. And then I also look absolutely amazing compared to what I did. And I just feel like I have so much more energy. And all of that is so important when it comes to making money. More important than you think. I prioritize my health over my business, because taking care of yourself, whether it's diet or working out, it all comes back to your brain. And with a healthier brain, you're actually able to think clearer and more precise on all these business topics about money. And so it's just so much easier to make money. I probably didn't explain that the best that I could, but I'm sure you could see it for yourself. If you visualize a millionaire, do you see them as a fat ass sitting on the couch eating Doritos, drinking Coke? No, you would probably see them in a fitted suit, being jacked as hell, not fat as hell, actually in good shape, good skin, good everything. And that is all due to prioritizing their health. The next habit that I would start doing yourself is journaling. I have 2 journals, and I've been journaling for quite a fucking while. One is for my business, and the other one is just basic journaling, just everything going on in my life. I like to write it down for either just to look back on and reflect, or it's to lower my stress, because times can be very stressful with a business, or just in general, life is super stressful sometimes, and writing it down is the best way to clear your head. There's also just talking to people and telling them what's happening. You know, it's really good for you, really good for your brain. And I haven't been doing this as much, I'll be real with you, but I've been doing this all the time that I was into making money online business, or even just with my YouTube channel. I was doing this all the time. Like, this was day 57 of journaling on June 12th, 2024. I'm just saying some bullshit. This is what I wrote. Another day, another sale. Bulk recordings are so useful. Need to plan days of just that. I've also been noticing that I am so freaking busy all the time now. I mean, I guess it's not a bad thing, but I just want more sleep and some alone time. So as you can see, I've been doing it for a long time. Yes, I need to be doing that right now because it is more stressful when you have more money. But if I were not doing this in the early years of me getting into business, getting into YouTube, getting into making money, then I would have burned out and I would have been done so much earlier had I not been journaling. Because it's so easy to stop believing in a business model after a week, maybe even less. Like, you're not seeing any results and you're really questioning if this is the right move, if this is the right thing you should be doing with your time. Maybe there's something better I can be doing. And journaling really helped me get over that, because I know what the truth was, that if I just stick to something for a long time, I will have results. And I'm living proof of that. If you stick to something for a while, you will get results no matter what. It will take time, but it will definitely happen eventually. You know, during these earlier years, I would just be so fed up. Like, why am I not getting any views? Why are no sales coming in? Am I doing something wrong? Is it me? Is it because I'm too lazy? What is it? I don't know. Yeah, talking with people and journaling absolutely helped out a ton with that, getting over it, because those are the hardest times when you're in the trenches, working every single day and working super long hours at that. So I definitely recommend journaling. The 5th habit or step that led me to making so much money is talking to God and believing in God, because it can be so stressful and you can really think that you will amount to nothing sometimes. But really, if you just put your faith behind Jesus, behind God, and just trust in his plan and what he has in store for you, it's so much easier to think positive, to think good on life. And like I said previously, you know how important it is to think positive. But it's really not all about getting the benefits of talking to God or just reading your Bible, going to church. It's not a benefit thing. It's just because it's so important to have faith in something bigger than yourself. It's not just you. You always have him by your side. You always have have God, the Holy Spirit by your side. And so nothing can tear you down if you're with God. The next important habit is going on walks. I've been going on a walk every single day for the last week or two. I haven't been doing it as much in the past, but I definitely have upped that amount recently because I understand how important it is, not only for my health, but for my mind. A lot of just making money is all about stress and your ability to control your stress and control and regulate your emotions. And going on walks is literally one of the best ways to do that, to lower your cortisol. And it goes back to health too. Just being in the sun, getting your steps in, it's so important for your health as well. The seventh thing I want to talk about is being organized. Naturally, I'm insanely organized. Like, it gets scary how organized I can be, and a lot of my friends get annoyed with how organized I am. So I kind of am like a type A, like control freak, I guess. But if I were not as organized as I am, my life would crumble, I feel like. Let me give you an example. My business model is drop shipping, and what that is, just filming for products and selling them online, being the middleman between the supplier and the customer. And what I was doing early on into drop shipping is 4 videos, and I had to film 2 or 3 every single day for each product. So what I would literally do, this is it. I would just think of a video and film it that day. That's it. Not thinking about what was working for my business, what videos were doing well, which weren't. A lot of times I would just be using the same concepts that weren't working previously, and that was because I had a lack of organization. I didn't know what was working, I didn't know what was, and I couldn't see my next step with this. But as soon as I started planning everything out, every single video, as you can see, it is so jam-packed with information, and this is literally just my research sheet, just doing research for which videos I should be doing, looking at my competitors and products similar to the one I am filming for, and just being able to see all that on a spreadsheet just makes life so much easier, instead of just having everything scrambled and you're just trying to put the pieces back together in order to make a video. It's so rough doing that. And not only in terms of business, but if you're living in a room that is just shit everywhere, clothes everywhere, it's super dirty, like it's unlivable. For one thing, your health. For sure, that's terrible. But the main thing with that is, and it's actually like scientifically proven, if you're living in a messy environment, you're not going to be able to have clear thoughts because there's so much going around you that you just can't think. You're getting distracted every single time. And my room is not insanely organized right now, but like, you can see it's not so organized over here. Like, I have lights on the ground. You know, my bed is made. My clothes are all away in their armoire, and you know, my dirty clothes are in there, and everything is just somewhat neat. And so I'm able to think so much clearer. There's nothing going around me that's gonna distract me. The last habit I'd say you absolutely need to include, if I would choose 2 habits to take from this video, it would be 1, getting right with God, and 2 is taking actionable steps, and that is with deadlines. If you set a goal for yourself, let's say to become a millionaire. Now let's think farther. Let's say if you set the goal of yourself becoming a billionaire, and you know that shit's not easy. If you think that you can just go to sleep and wake up a billionaire, you are delusional, absolutely retarded, because everyone knows that's not how it works. You have to take so many steps in order to become a billionaire. And I can't say that I am a billionaire. There's like very few of them in the world. But even if you broke that down into becoming a millionaire or something that's irrelevant to money, being like a professional athlete, being able to pass this class, being able to get good grades in class. There's so many little steps and habits that lead up to the ultimate goal. It's not just a start to a finish line right away. There's obstacles in the way, and there's steps in order to get to that finish line. Like, if you take something so simple as getting a good grade on a test, the steps you need to take are paying attention in class, knowing all the criteria, studying it, reviewing it, and then repeating that process over and over, and you're gonna get a good grade on that test. It's the same exact thing with becoming a millionaire or billionaire. Every single big goal needs all these actionable steps for you to take, and it's important to know which steps are gonna come first rather than later on. Because if you skip ahead to a more complex step, then you're just gonna fall right back down. You're not gonna go anywhere. So again, breaking it down in another situation, let's say your ultimate goal is getting a 4.0 GPA in your grade, whatever. There's so many steps in order to do that, and even in these steps, you can break them down. You have to think about your quizzes, tests, midterms, finals, and every single one of those can be broken down into smaller steps that you need to take for the ultimate goal of getting a 4.0 GPA. And to take that a step further is to set deadlines for yourself. Because like me, you're probably pretty lazy, and that's not necessarily a bad thing if you can weaponize that. If you don't set the deadline for yourself, you're probably going to end up getting distracted, probably scrolling or doing something that isn't as important as what you need to be doing. And so every day, whatever task it is, I always set a deadline for myself just to make sure it's done. And afterwards, if you do get it done, you give yourself a reward, whether it's watching a show, being able to eat food again, being able to go to the bathroom. It can get as extreme as that, but just these little rewards. And then if you consistently do this, your brain just knows that you have to get that shit done. Okay, those were the 8 habits or steps that made me be able to make $75,000 in just 14 days. If you start implementing all of these habits, then you will absolutely get the same results that I did. I hope you guys got something out of this. Please subscribe, like the video, comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.